What many people don't realise concerning the Essex boys case is that in the weeks leading up to the trial of Michael Steele and Jack Wombs, Darren Nichols recorded a series of home videos, almost like a personal video diary, if you will. This started at home whilst in the witness protection programme, but he managed to smuggle this camcorder into his prison cell and continued recording. Firstly, I'm going to read for you a few paragraphs from the book Blogs 19, followed by my narration of that audio transcript.
It was a crime which pushed everything else off the front pages. 3 men, all known criminals, found shot dead in the Essex countryside. It was a cold-blooded, professional killing. The victims had many enemies, but which one wanted them executed?
And welcome back to a new video on the Essex boys case. As always, if you are enjoying the content, please do give the video a thumbs up. And if you're interested in the Essex boys case, or simply true crime in general, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below. As the trial loomed nearer, Darren Nichols became more and more nervous about what might happen. In particular, the prospect of Mick and Jack going free played on his mind. He found it impossible to talk about it with his wife, who was becoming increasingly bitter about the enforced separation from her family. His police handlers had no time for him unless he was making statements. Desperate for an outlet, Nichols decided to make a video diary of his thoughts and feelings. He began filming himself at home. Such was the relief at being able to offload his anxieties, he even smuggled the camera into his prison cell to help him cope with the stresses and strains in the final days before the trial. The following transcripts reveal much about the reality of life on the witness protection programme. "13 weeks before the trial. I'm getting really paranoid, I can't help it. Some days are better than others. Sometimes I have a drink and it makes me more relaxed. Other times I have a drink and it just brings my paranoia out even more. I lie in bed, I can't sleep. I hear these people out in the street walking their dogs, stuff like that, and I'm convinced it's them that's coming for me. Since I've been here in the safe house, I've had constant sleepless nights. Sometimes there's a noise, just a small noise, and it sets me off. If a cat meows, I'm up in an instant, looking out the window wide awake. Or I'm creeping down the stairs to check out the house. I've even started sleeping with a knife under my pillow. Sometimes when I'm walking down the road, I see people looking at me, and I'm convinced they recognise me. I'm always on edge. I'm drinking a lot. I suppose everyone expects you to be an alcoholic by now. I don't think I'm going to disappoint them. After a little while, I just sit there, going to my own little world of red stripe lager. But I need it. I'm not allowed sleeping tablets in case the defence end up using it against me in court. They might say that my testimony isn't valid because I've been under the influence of drugs. I don't feel like a person anymore. I feel like a piece of evidence. Exhibit number 1. I feel like I've been sealed up and I'm not allowed to get contaminated. It's weird, but the only time I can really sleep is when my wife is awake. I suppose it's because I feel like she's watching over me, protecting me. But if she's asleep, I can't sleep. So it's back to drinking again. If I get pissed enough, I can always get to sleep. Right now, I wouldn't recommend that anyone accepts witness protection. The police are just being completely out of order. I've given them all the information they asked for, but they still refuse to say exactly what they're going to do for me. They say, wait and see, wait and see. That's no good to me. I'm really worried about things. I'm not allowed to work at the moment. It's too much of a risk. The police come round to visit me once a week and give me £48. That's how much I'd get if I was out on the dole. Doesn't go very far. It's really stupid because the police gave Sandra a cover story which doesn't make any sense. Apparently, I'm this really successful builder who spends loads of time working on big money contracts abroad. That was fine while I was away, but now I'm back and I haven't got a fucking pot to piss in. If I could go back in time to when I was arrested, I'd never go down this route again. I wouldn't even consider it. I'd much rather be locked up with them and risk getting killed. In fact, I'd probably end up killing myself. I must have thought about it 100 times in the last year, the way they've treated me. I'd just never do it again. I don't think anyone would. The way I see it, if you get put away for 8 years, you do your time. But when you come out, you can hold your head up high. You don't have to spend your whole life looking over your shoulder like I have to. I did it the first time, did the crime, then did the time, and it was okay. I came out, I was able to start my life again. But this way, it just never ends. It goes on, and I'll always regret doing it. I'm looking forward to playing these tapes back when it's all over, because I hope I'm going to be wrong. I hope the police will keep their promises and help me start my life over. But I don't feel confident. When I was in the Supergrass unit, the one thing you hear from all the people there is, don't trust the police, don't trust the police. I'm convinced that I'm going to be shat on from a great height. I asked the police for money today, to put extra locks on the doors and windows. They said they couldn't afford it. I was just trying to tell them how worried about things I was, but they just don't seem to understand. I started telling them I was going to be making my own arrangements. I told them when I get my new identity, I'm going to apply for a shotgun licence. At least that way I'll have some way of taking care of myself. They just looked at me. They said there's no way they'd ever let me have one. I tried to explain to them that the people who are going to be coming after me were hardly going to be turning up with lumps of wood or knives. They'd be armed to the fucking teeth. If I didn't get a shotgun, then at least I wanted them to give me was a bulletproof jacket or something, so if it all did come on top, I could throw it on and perhaps survive it. They said they couldn't afford it. They gave me a car for emergencies, but then they took it off me. Said I was abusing it, was doing too many miles and wasn't keeping it clean. Now the car's gone. But one of my bail conditions is that I should have a vehicle as a means of a getaway. It's really fucking stupid. So now if anyone does come to shoot me, I'll have to hope the fucking bus is going past. The police said they'd arrange a holiday so that my family could come and see me. I don't believe them. All the things they've told me so far have turned out to be lies. They really don't want to do anything for you, because they're so terrified that when it goes to court, it'll end up being used against them. That's all very well. I understand it. I really do. It's no good to me right now, is it? It's not very promising at all. If I ever do get a holiday, I know it's not going to be much fun anyway. Some caravan in the middle of nowhere with 20 armed guards and me mum. I keep saying I have to wait until after the trial, and that's when they'll start helping me out. But they won't tell me what to expect. The contract I have with the police says that they have to put me back in the position I was before I became a witness. I'm never sure whether that means getting me a job or somewhere to live or putting me in a town that needs a good drug dealer. Might get a nice little sweeping job down at Ford's or a job digging holes for the council, and they'll say to me, go on, enjoy your new life. I've seen the things that the papers are writing about me. They make it seem like I've got a private jet and £1 million in the bank. Even if the police had that kind of cash to throw away, I don't think I'd get it. At the end of the day, police and criminals are pretty much the same, really. So even the cops hate our grass. I don't think they like me at all. Sometimes in my heart, I wish I'd never become a witness. When I first got arrested, I met with my solicitor, and he said that if I hadn't said anything, he could have probably got me off. After all, I only bought the drugs because Jim wanted me to keep him with Jack and Mick. I was a registered police informant. If I'd only kept my big mouth shut, I'd still be living in Braintree. None of this would be happening. The wife's gone out for the night, so I'm here on my own looking after the kids. I'll probably have to tell my children the whole story one day. Not looking forward to that. They'll want to get married or something one day, and I know the whole name change thing can cause big problems. I don't know how they'll feel about their dad when I tell them. Guess I'll have to wait and see. To an extent, they know already. My oldest boy, he's too young to know what's going on, but he knows it's not right. He asks me lots of awkward questions. He wouldn't know what supergrass was, but I'm always telling him off for telling tales on people. And if I explain what I've done, that's exactly what he'd think I've been doing. My kids think the reason we moved out of our old house in the middle of the night was because some old World War II bomb had been discovered and was about to go off in our street. It was the only excuse the police had come up with straight away. The first night they'd put them in a police training school. My oldest isn't stupid. He can read. He kept asking my wife, "Why are we in a police station, Mummy?" The first time I went to prison, the kids were told that Daddy was being sent away because he'd been naughty and made the Queen angry. They got really upset by the whole thing. They slept with their mum every night. Ever since then, my oldest had been really clingy. When I've had to go to custody just for a few days at a time to make statements or something, he's acted in a really odd way. I've gone to say goodbye and he said to me, "You are coming back, aren't you?" It's as if he knows that something's not right. It really gets to you. When I was away, I got all these letters and pictures and things saying, "Daddy, we love you, and we think you're the best daddy in the world." And I'm there thinking, no, I'm not. I'm full of shit. I've got all these kids telling me I'm wonderful, and I just don't deserve it. Let's talk about the Old Bailey. They took me there last week for a look around. I can tell you it's not a very nice place. The trial is going to be held in Court 2, which is very, very overpowering, to say the least. When I was at the old style committal, I was at least 35 feet from the dock where Womes and Steele were. This time, I'm probably 10 feet at most. They're going to be there, in my face, and there's nowhere to hide from them. It's made me pretty scared because it seems such a small room for the number of people that's going to be in there. They made me walk the route that I'll take into court every morning. I was expecting at least some kind of dedicated facility for special witnesses, but I was wrong. I'm going to the Bailey through the back doors, then me and my armed escort walked through the cells, then we went along the corridor, up a few flights of stairs, and finally up in a toilet outside the courtroom. "What's this?" I said. "This is where we'll be keeping you." And that was it. That's where I'm going to be every morning. It's where I'll eat my lunch. It's where I'll be sent every time there's a bit of legal argument. A fucking toilet. Mind you, with the amount of nerves I'm likely to have, it's probably the best place for me. I don't think me and the wife are going to make it. She keeps saying that she wants to go back to Essex, to go back to living a normal life. Sometimes I think that it might just be the best thing for her. But when I start to think about my future without her, all I see is problems. Basically, we're just living a lie at the moment, and we have to spend our lives remembering all the lies that we've been telling so we don't get caught out. It would be so nice, just such a relief to be able to tell someone. It would be brilliant. If there was someone out there who could understand why I am the way I am. I feel that I must come across as really weird to some people. But I don't know whether I'll ever feel comfortable enough to tell any of my new friends the truth. The paranoia is always there. What happens if I run into someone I knew in the old days and I'm with my kids? What do I do? Not let the children speak? It's an impossible situation. My biggest worry is what might happen if me and the wife don't get back together. What happens if I start seeing someone else and fall in love? Do I sit her down and say, by the way, I'm a supergrass and there's £250,000 on my head, but we'll be okay as long as you don't tell anyone? What happens if you don't tell her? What if you do tell her, girl, then you split up? If she tells her next boyfriend and he tells someone? But if you don't tell her, then how would you feel if they burst in for me when she's there? I don't want to do it. It's only a week or so away, but I really don't want to go through with it. I've been sitting here trying to work out what they might ask me. I know they're going to try and trick me, and that's what really does your head in. I guess I've been trying to work out the answers in advance, but my barrister says the one thing you shouldn't do is work out what they're going to ask you, because they'll always come up with something different, and then you'll be stuck. I'm trying my best not to, but I can't help it. It's not just a case of me going there and telling the truth. The whole case rests on me. Without me, there is no case. So they're going to try and do absolutely everything they can to destroy me, because it's their only chance of getting off. Are they going to try and call me a liar? Are they going to try and rip my character apart? Are they going to let me speak at all? Just have to wait and see. I'm not looking forward to going back into custody. I'll be back in the police stations again. But this time no one will be allowed to see me. No visits at all. They're scared that if anyone sees me when the trial is on, the defence will say I'm being coached or I'm being given ideas. So I'm going to be spending a lot of time on my own. I'm not looking forward to it. All you can do is watch TV. I'll be fully up to date with Neighbours, EastEnders, Coronation Street, the lot. But that doesn't make up for much. It's not like I'm in some peaceful place where I can think. It's a police station. It's full of drunks who are up for a fight, especially on a Friday and Saturday night. They scream and kick the doors all night long. It's horrible. I'm not looking forward to it one little bit. I'm not the same person that I was when all this started. I used to laugh at people who cried at soppy films. But now at everything, even when I hear a song that's slightly sad, I tend to cry. I don't know why. I thought about my dad a lot. That keeps going through my mind. I lay there and it's almost as if he's here with me. But he's not. It's difficult. They want me to see a psychiatrist to see if I'm cracking up. When they first said it, I felt good. Felt like they actually cared. Now I realise they were just worried in case I can't give evidence in the case. My wife isn't speaking to me anymore. Last night I told her I was popping out for a quick drink. I didn't get back till 3 AM. And when I did, I was completely out of my tree. My neighbours are really on her side. They're all having a go at me today, saying, "How can you go out drinking every night when you're about to go off to Germany for 2 months?" That's the story everyone's been given. That I'm off abroad to work on some kind of building contract. They're all saying I should be spending more time with my wife. They have no idea how much stress I'm under. If my wife doesn't start talking to me again soon, I'm just going to go back down the pub. As far as I'm concerned, any excuse to get pissed is a good one. First night back in the cells. Not very good. I can't sleep. I'm nervous, bloody nervous. I've only been back 16 hours, I've already had a big row with the wife. We fell out over a difference of things that she said to one of our neighbours and what I said to our neighbours. We forgot to confer. You tell so many lies in this game that it just happens automatically. You don't think, you don't ask. I just have to take it in my stride. People say, don't worry, but I can't help it. This is the beginning of my whole life. And it's a life of worrying about everything and having to be extra careful who I make friends with. I even have to make sure my kids don't slip up. At the end of the day, I can handle going to court and giving evidence. What I can't handle is the rest of my life. The rest of my life's going to be horrible, no matter which way the verdict goes. I spoke to my mum a little while ago. That wasn't very good either. She just told me to tell the truth. I feel like shit. It's my second night back in custody and I've just had the biggest scare of my life. My wife was really depressed when I left, scared about being on her own. When I phoned her back last night, she was pretty miserable because of the row. But after a while, she seemed pretty much okay. But then I phoned her last night and there was no answer. So I paged her, no answer. I phoned her mobile, it was turned off. So I started to panic. I didn't know what to do. So I told the police and they started to panic. They sent a car round to the house. She wasn't there, neither were the kids. So they started searching for her and put out an alert on the car. The whole time I was just sitting there feeling absolutely useless. I really wanted to do something to help, but I was locked up. I really started to believe that they'd got to her. They knew the trial was about to start and they'd snatched her away. I was ready to retract every statement I'd ever made. There was no way I was going to get in the witness box. I really believed that my family had been abducted and killed. The police were really getting nervous, checking all my relatives and the families of the accused to make sure they knew where they were. Then about 3 a.m, the police said they'd found her. It all just got too much for her and she'd gone off on a bender and left the kids with a friend. I know I keep going on about how things are so tough for me, but I know things are so fucking tough for the wife as well. All this shit somehow affects the innocent more than the guilty. I was so relieved that she was safe. I just wanted to tell her that I loved her and cared for her, but I just ended up shouting at her down the phone, calling all the names under the sun. I was really having a go at her, left her even more upset. Then I just sat on the bed and cried. Everyone back in Braintree has got it in for me. If anyone gets arrested for anything, even if they get stopped by the police for speeding, the story is that I must have grassed them up. I'm getting the blame for absolutely every problem that anyone's ever had. I'm the ultimate scapegoat. So I'm an informer. I've informed on people, but I'm trying to make amends. I feel more like a criminal now than ever before. I've been condemned to a life of misery. I want to sleep, but I can't. It's getting too close for comfort now. Someone told me today that they want to use me in another trial next September. The one where Russell Tate is up for the lot for smuggling drugs they found in Mick's mum's garage. I'm really fucked off about it. I was hoping that after this trial was over, that would be it. They wouldn't have any more hold over me. I'd be able to get sentenced and then get on with my life. But now they say I have to wait until the second trial's over. They've got me by the nuts. If I don't agree to give evidence, it's going to look really bad and the police won't petition to the judge to give me a discount on my sentence. If I do give evidence, it means another whole year of living in limbo. It's all down to me. Sometimes I feel like a performing dog. The more tricks I do, the more dog biscuits I get. I think I'm going to die of some stress-related illness before I get into court. There's another delay now and I won't be in the box until next week. It's doing my head in. I got a letter from my sister today. She said she's really proud of me for doing what I'm doing. She's proud that I'm her brother. No one's ever said that to me before. Normally, my family are really angry at being related to me because of the things I've done in the past. It's nice to think that at least one person thinks I'm doing the right thing. I've been reading statements all day. Yesterday the police told me to expect to be in the dock for at least a month. I'm bloody worried about it, I can't help it. What scares me most is the fact that if there's just one mistake they could get off. Not because they didn't do it, but because there's some sort of stupid technicality. Why am I so scared? How can they be sitting in court smiling? I hear they're very confident. They think they've got a good case. But if they get off, it's a bloody travesty. People say you can't destroy the truth. But you don't get to be one of the top barristers in the country without knowing a thing or two. If they get off, I'll be distressed. But they won't get off. They did it. They are guilty men. If they get off, then I don't know what will happen. I guess they'll try and throw in lots of doubt. I hope I can survive the onslaught of questions. I hope the truth is enough. What a situation to be in, eh? First day in court. I sat there all day in the toilet but never got to go on. I was talking to the guys on the protection squad. They just say, tell the truth, don't worry, take deep breaths. Must have heard that 10 times. I feel numb. Today was my first day. I was really nervous this morning, nearly sick. I think part of it was the drive down from Essex to the Old Bailey in the back of this armoured Range Rover. It was like being in a boat in the middle of a storm. Then after that, to be in court all day. I started giving my evidence, I just kept looking straight forward. I got brave at one point and had a quick glance to my side, but Mick and Jack were both engrossed in reading. They didn't notice me. It's all pretty good at the moment. I'm just standing there, telling my story. I started being cross-examined today. The bloke is good. Very good. He made me think that I'm a liar. He made me think that they were innocent and that I made the whole thing up. He's making me look like a complete idiot out there. And I'm not getting a chance to say why I did it or how the whole thing happened. He's bloody good, but that's why he earns the money he does. You don't hire rubbish if you're fighting for your life. I feel like a kebab. I'm being grilled in the courtroom and I'm just waiting for Steele's barrister to start slicing away. I can just imagine what the press are saying about it all. They're going to be picking up on all the bad stuff because it makes for a better story for them. I don't think the press like me at all. I don't think anyone likes the grass. I feel like the most unpopular man in the world.